Villanova University's WXVU Villanova, serving the main line, including Montgomery, Delaware, and Chester counties at 89.1 on your FM dial. We're streaming online at our website, wxvu.org. Nominated for Best Radio Station Imaging at this year's National Student Production Awards, we are V89.1 The Roar.
Good morning, Nova Nation. It's another Friday with the Morning Roar, and we have a lot coming up with discussions about a new dating app focusing on, guess what, credit scores. And with the second snow day of the winter still stuck on the ground, we were wondering about the amount of calories you burn by shoveling. We shall discuss. And we are definitely curious how your Hearts Day went with our Twitter poll, which is already up and waiting for your response. However, hearts don't just race around Nova because fast cars are also racing for a much longer time through Villanova's Formula SAE Nova Racing Team, who will be joining us later this morning. In sports, both the men and women are back at it on the hardwood and will preview all the Villanova action. The Morning Roar is also being broadcast live on WXVU's YouTube channel. Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Kokinos.
I'm Nick Williams.
And I'm Talene Postian. And here is our Morning Roar news update. The authorities in Kansas City said yesterday that they were keeping 2 teenagers in custody after a shooting that tore through the city's Super Bowl celebration, killing 1 person and wounding nearly 24 others in what appears to be a result of an argument. Stacey Graves, the city's police chief, said at least 22 people were wounded in the shooting on Wednesday, in addition to the person who died, and that the victims ranged in age from 8 to 47 years old. At least half of the wounded were younger than 16. The police said they had initially taken 3 young people into custody, but released one of them after determining that person was not involved. A police spokeswoman, Aliana Gonzalez, said on Thursday night that investigators were working with juvenile court prosecutors to, quote, determine applicable charges, unquote, against the 2 teenagers. And for our second story, a mother who strangled her 11-year-old son at their Pennsylvania home last year and then went to New Jersey where she drove her SUV into the ocean has been convicted of murder. Ruth Dorenzio Whitehead, 51, of Horsham, faces a mandatory life term when she's sentenced Friday. She was found guilty yesterday following a bench trial. Montgomery County prosecutors argued the killing was premeditated, saying she had made numerous online searches on how to strangle someone and did research on mental illnesses that could lead women to kill their own children. They also said Dorenzio Whitehead blamed her husband for the family's financial issues and was motivated to kill by a mix of anger and revenge.
Thank you, Tali. Now let's go into our first discussion topic of the day, giving credit where it's due. It's a bit late to find a date in time for Valentine's Day, but it's not too late to find your perfect financial match. This sounds like an ad. It's not.
Yeah. I was going to say, who's sponsoring us?
Thanks to a new dating app that's exclusively for singles with good credit scores. Score is a dating app for people with credit scores of 675 or above. So it's not enough anymore to just pose with a fish you caught, I guess. Nick, let's start with you. What do we think about this?
I don't know what to say. It just feels so icky to me. Just like it's like Tinder, but instead of putting in your interest, you put in your credit score, your bank account info, and based on that, you get matched with other rich people, and just no.
I don't know if it's rich people or just people who pay their bills on time.
That's also true.
That might be
I don't know how
yeah.
credit works.
So what I'm hearing is you're not on this app.
Nick has a horrendous credit score. He will not be on this app. Well, I don't think that this is going for Tinder's target audience. Like, Tinder is for the young college student. I think this app is more for like the savvy businessman and businesswoman in their late 30s.
I think
looking
the
to
late
settle down
30s is an integral part of this. And this
Yeah.
very much reeks of, like, Tinder's a different type of desperation. This is, again, fueled by desperation, as all dating apps are, unfortunately. But, like, I do wonder, because it was brought up in the question, what is the correlation of like these credit scores to like the traits or cliches we see on other dating apps? Like I would love to see if this had like a news page on the app. They definitely do not. But if they were like, and here we have, it's like shockingly, everyone who poses with a fish photo has like on average a 600 credit score, which is amazing. But if they pose with a very tiny fish, even higher credit score. I think that'd be really interesting.
But do you think they also like post like their interest too? Like they have the fishing
I think
photo.
they
Like they
have
have to, right?
Yeah, this isn't literally Chase Bank. Like, I'm not asking for a loan if I open this app.
I think it's pretty. This kind of reminds me of the other dating app. I don't know if you guys have seen this, where it's like all these dating apps are adding new restrictions on them to kind of like cut down on like the Tinder effect of everyone just trying to like sleep around.
Mhm.
Where this dating app now, all of the men on there have to be approved by other women
I saw
on the app.
that. Yes, you have to be like invited by a affirmed woman.
Yes, from a confirmed
woman.
good woman on the app. And if you start acting up on the app, the report goes to the woman.
Wait, I
approved
never
you.
heard that
No.
part.
Yes.
I like
If
that.
you start acting up, the report goes to the girl that approved you, and they have to deal with it.
You know what this sounds like? This just sounds like the digital version of like of like your like auntie at like church or like school or whatever who's like, "Oh, my son.
Yes,
My
yes.
son is perfect for you." But I like how this one has evolved to being the point where it's like, if your son messes up, it's going straight back to auntie. Like she's
Yeah.
gonna know.
I think that's
crazy.
pretty awesome. Nick, what do you think?
I'm here for the snitch culture.
I agree. I think this is good. I want to see it around for a couple more years to see like the true aftermath, but I'm not seeing any immediate downfalls.
No.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that men probably will not want to go on that app. Like, how are you gonna like? It seems like kind of a hard process to get approved. Because one, you have to know a girl on the app, and this app isn't popular yet.
No, but I feel like it's, unless I'm like making this up, I feel like it's a kind of like, oh, let me ask my friend who's a girl to make an account on this app and then she'll recommend me. I feel like that's not unethical.
No.
I
guess
think
that would
that's
make
probably how it
sense.
And I
Yeah.
feel like for at least for me, a lot of my friends will like make dating apps like the creation of the account is like a group event. So it's like,
Oh, of course.
I feel like this is
100%.
kind of exactly. So
Yeah.
this is kind of an evolution of that. I don't think
Yeah.
it's that crazy to demand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like whenever somebody makes a new dating app account, it's like an evening thing. Like everybody gathers around.
My friend
and-
literally texted me and it was like, Talene, my birthday gift to you is we're going to be able to make my Hinge account. Like that's like, I'm going to let you help me with that.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you very much. That's exactly what I wanted.
Like I've been begging my roommates. I'm like, you gotta do
Yeah.
it. Like you gotta do it. Because like
It's
I want to
fun.
get in
It's
on it.
so fun
Like
to
it's
help.
so fun.
You can be like, that's not the picture for you. And I'm saying that very
Yeah.
honestly right now.
Like, you don't want to use the basic
Yeah.
Hinge captions where it's like, I'm just looking for somebody open with a good time. It's like that's everybody on that app.
Exactly. We need specificity, people.
Thank you. Now let's go to our Twitter poll question of the day. So we want to hear from you. What did you do for Valentine's Day? Did you go out to dinner? Did you stay in and chill? Did you do nothing because it's a made-up holiday, or did you do other? Please reply. This question is up on our Twitter and our Instagram, so make sure you go vote by the end of the show. But Nick, let's start with you.
Man, it was a Wednesday.
It
I
was a
don't, I
Wednesday.
don't know
Part
what
of
to
it.
tell you. I just went to class. I did homework. I went to bed, and
That's what a lot of people
I
said.
tried to ignore all of the other stuff that was going on that day. That made me feel very, very alone.
Yeah, understandable. See, a lot of people were not happy with me on Valentine's Day because I ran a 5-hour mock trial practice from 6 to 11 at night.
Oh, geez.
So
I wouldn't be happy with
no.
you either.
like that's just what we got to do. But they all got over it, I think. They all had
Okay.
their dinners on Thursday nights or Tuesday night. But like, to be fair, it was a Wednesday night. You know, life has to go on. Move your dinners around.
Okay. So
I moved
then
my
are
dinners
you
around.
going in for nothing, it's a made up holiday?
No. Like I went out to dinner, just
Okay.
not on Valentine's Day.
Okay. Okay.
Like it was an earlier celebration of it.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
I similarly did not do anything on the Wednesday of because, as you said, it was like I have stuff going on. I got homework. I was doing it's how many hours do I have in the evening? Not that many, but I did do like a Galentine's thing with my friends, which was but like on the weekend, like a normal person with
Yeah.
free time. Yeah,
I think that's when most people did everything was during the weekend.
yeah.
Just because it's a very busy week. We're like approaching midterms, I guess.
Exactly.
That's what they tell me.
I have one midterm next week, but then I have another midterm next week. The like next week. So it's like, which one's the actual week? I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know?
No.
So we all don't know.
Like this gets to the part of the semester where everyone's like, it's midterm season, but I'm like,
Mhm.
we've only been here for 5 weeks. It's
I
a
hate that
15-week semester. It's a 15-week semester.
I hate that we've transitioned instead of being like, oh, it's midterm week, it's now midterm season. It's
Yeah.
like it's an acknowledgement that no one knows what the week is.
No. And that midterms don't really exist. Like for a lot of my classes, I just don't have midterms.
One of mine is a discussion, like a
That's
midterm
awesome.
discussion.
That's
which
awesome.
Is incredible. I'm so happy about it.
That's like quintessential humanities, where my final is an oral final where I sit there and talk with the professor about what I learned in the class.
Yes.
Best finals ever. Now, Nick, why don't you take us into our birthdays coming up this weekend?
All right. So happy birthday to Elizabeth Olsen turning 35, The Weeknd turning 34, and John Enroe turning 65.
Is that Nick Enroe?
I have no idea.
He's an actor.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
And on Saturday, we have NBA star Michael Jordan turning 61, and Billy Joe Armstrong turning 52, and Paris Hilton turning 43. What is a soup kitchen? And Ed Sheeran turning 33. And on Sunday, we have John Travolta turning 70, and Jeremy Allen White turning 33.
Paris Hilton being 43 is insane to me. I don't know why.
See, I was going to comment on the Michael Jordan one. Every time I hear Michael Jordan's age, I think he's about 10 years younger than I'm expecting.
The NBA star Michael
Yes,
Jordan?
correct.
Why is that qualified? Like, we all know it's who Michael Jordan is. No, I'm just asking.
Wait, hold on, what?
Because like because
Like,
nobody else gets a qualifier on this list. But like of all of them, I think Michael Jordan, the man on every person's shoe, like
Michael
everyone
Jordan,
knows who
the
he is
most famous athlete.
of all time.
Yeah.
If anyone, John McEnroe needs a little qualifier, maybe a LinkedIn link next to his name. I have no idea.
Are
who he
you
is.
hiring? Because John McEnroe needs some help.
Yeah,
We think.
exactly. John McEnroe, if you need an agent, please let me know.
Reach out. We could have you on for an interview.
Yeah.
All right, Talene, what's going on with WXVU?
Our partnership with the Villanova Fitzpatrick College of Nursing, WXV, and U Health just completed another senior nursing student rotation with the WXVU, resulting in 3 different brand new public service announcements and podcasts. In each break today on the Morning Roar, you'll hear one of the PSAs the 3 groups in WXV and U Health rotation put together. The nursing students did an awesome job, and the Morning Roar salutes Dr. Carol Weingarten and her students. Our show of the week just made its debut Wednesday, Bella on the Buzz, hosted by Isabella Cipresso. Bella on the Buzz is a weekly talk show featuring interviews with VU celebs and covering all you want to know about music, movies, media, and more. Bella on the Buzz is heard every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. right here on the WXVU.
Thank you, Talene. You're listening to the Morning Roar right here on WXVU. We're going to be taking a quick break, so stay tuned for more after this.
Hi, everybody. My name is David Shapansky, and I'm the WXVU Sports Director. You're listening to WXVU 89.1 The Roar.
Yo, it's finally the weekend. What's the plan for tonight?
I don't know, guys. I'm like 10 shots deep.
Bruh, don't worry, we got you. Where do you guys want to go? Beyond the social scenes, excessive drinking can impact your health and college journey. So we ask you all to remember your basics. College is more than late nights. It's about navigating responsibility. Basics is a Villanova resource that provides tools and support for making informed choices about alcohol. It is crucial to recognize the signs of alcohol misuse. If you or someone you know is struggling with alcohol misuse, now is the time to seek help. Villanova campus resources are here and support is available. Let's raise awareness, break the stigma, and create a college culture focused on well-being. Visit the Villanova Health Services website under the Resources for Health and Well-Being for guidance.
This message is brought to you by senior nursing students in the Fitzpatrick College of Nursing, the Office of Health Promotion, and WXVNU Health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brian McDonough. I had the pleasure to visit WXVU Studios, and I'm so proud of the work being done through WXVNU Health, a partnership between WXVU and the Fitzpatrick College of Nursing in collaboration with the Office of Health Promotion. I look forward to hearing more of the outstanding podcast and public service announcements that are produced by the nursing students and WXVNU Health. This is Villanova University's V89.1 The Roar.
Welcome back to the Morning Roar right here on WXVU 89.1 FM. And now it's time for our 3-day weather forecast for the main line. Today is starting off with morning sun and a few passing clouds. The high is 41 degrees. Tomorrow, you could expect snow showers with steadier snow developing late at night, low of 28 degrees.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It's going to be cold. Saturday will offer cloudy skies followed by a partial clearing. A few flurries or snow showers are possible. Saturday night conditions are expected to be mostly clear. It's a high of 36 degrees and a low of 23 tomorrow. And expect a few afternoon clouds, and Sunday is expected to be mainly sunny in the day and mostly clear skies for the night with a high of 41 and a low of 28. And the current temperature outside our Daugherty Hall studios on the campus of Villanova is 33 degrees. Now, Talene, let's go to you with our Morning Roar news update.
The Mainline Symphony Orchestra will perform its winter concert on February 23rd, 2024 at Bryn Mawr Presbyterian Church at 8 p.m. The concert will feature the world premiere of J. Fluellen's Mass for the Light, Becoming. Dr. Fluellen will prepare the Community Mass Choir of Philadelphia and members from Singing City and the Philadelphia Chorale. Mass for the Light Becoming is a new commission that explores the divisive and troubling times of our present society. Texts include 2 of the traditional Mass musical liturgy movements, Kyrie and Gloria, as well as an African proverb, a Jewish prayer, and 3 original poems by Dr. Fluellen. It's one of these stories where I realize I know nothing about this aspect of the world, and it's every other word I did not understand, but I like that they're doing it. I didn't know that different musical liturgy movements called Kyrie and Gloria existed, but good for them, and good for Dr. Fluellen. A bizarre act of vandalism was reported at an art exhibition in Moscow, where a security guard damaged an art exhibit and tried to eat it.
Awesome.
The art piece, named Escape of the Goldfish, featured a goldfish bowl with a goldfish sticking out next to a painting of the open sea. Oh my God, with another goldfish appearing as if it had jumped from the bowl and into the waves. The thought-provoking concept must have caught the eye of the security guard on duty, who ended up destroying the very thing he was paid to protect. Security footage shows the guard casually holding the painting of the open sea with one hand and pulling on the old goldfish with the other until it comes off. He then smells the, very important, fake fish. It's not real, and tries to take a bite of it. When confronted, the man said that he had a tough night with very little sleep. The goldfish, as you might expect, remembers nothing.
So my question is, are we talking about the snack that smiles back here, or are we talking like an actual goldfish?
I'm going to say it's probably a depiction of an actual goldfish, but I do love the concept of the one painting having the fish jumping out and the painting right next to it having the fish going back into the ocean.
I was going to say,
that's pretty awesome.
An art history major and someone who worked as a museum security guard in an art gallery, this is great. I love this whole story.
Start to finish, you're on board.
100%. I think if there was the right marketing around this act, like transform this into like a performance piece, like immediately. I love this. I think this is really interesting. And I thought the original piece is cool enough on its own. I like the concept, but then like having a security guard who's out of his mind with lack of sleep and being like, I was just compelled. Like
I needed to eat this fish.
Exactly. This is crazy. I like it.
Wait, when you were where were you a security guard?
The Aldrich Contemporary Art Museum in Connecticut.
Okay. And we're like, if let's say a robbery was going down, were you
Yes.
about to like step in front of that, or?
The crazy thing is that literally was not part of my training. My manager, who I loved, his name was Jack. He was the chillest man alive, and I don't think he taught me what to do at all. He was really nice, and he was just kind of like, it was more of a, I was a visitor services type thing where it was like not really expected that anyone was going to steal one of the modern art pieces off of the wall,
Yeah.
of which included like felt rope structure and some like wood planks. But I think it was kind of a like Apple Store type situation where I was not really expected to put myself in the way of the thievery because that might have just been a larger insurance nightmare for them.
Probably.
Which is why I don't think they wanted me to do that. Yeah. But ironically, looking back, he literally never taught me what to do if someone tries to steal it. I've got to reach back out about that one.
Now, hypothetical, it's getting robbed. What are you doing?
Employee break room. Like,
Okay, you're not trying to do the heroics.
like again, a lot of the actual answer is a lot of the stuff is very fragile. And I wonder if I tried to stop them, if it would have a larger chance of stuff being ruined.
Okay.
And that is almost of utmost importance. Like we can usually get pieces back because like a lot of truth, like the longer short story of this is a lot of art thievery these days is actually harder to do because the art market is so digitized. So if someone wants to sell like a really well-known work, which a lot of the stuff in this museum was, or like it's highly cataloged, we just have to wait like a year and be like, we know that's ours. Like provenance is so like backed up these days, like we can trace it back very easily, as opposed to in like the 1850s when everyone could be like, no, Rembrandt just painted this. Like we're just selling this for the first time. But now it's more of a just like you gotta wait the market out.
See, this is all very good to know.
Yeah.
Like I would have had no idea.
And
Would you
that's
look
why
at
you
that?
shouldn't steal from art museums. It's not like you're gonna get hurt. It's just there's less of a reward, truthfully.
Yeah. Now I have been seeing very like prominently people constantly, like I saw it this morning on my Instagram, people throwing stuff at the Mona Lisa.
This is a debate that I've had in a lot of my classes, and I think it's really interesting. I think my perspective on it is less about the art itself and more about what's a publicly important place that like random people have access to, that the disruption of that area will like create a news story without getting them like severely arrested. You know what I mean? Like think about it.
That's a good point.
If you threw soup at like town hall, it almost would be less impressive and you probably would get a bigger like jail sentence. You know what I mean? The museum is more of a like, oh, it's like revered as a cultural institution. So it's more of a place of discourse by nature, but then also it's a little bit more forgiving to stuff like that because they almost want it. It like draws in publicity.
Yeah.
And
And
a lot
you
of stuff's
know
protected.
people are going to have their phones out because it's the Mona Lisa. Like
Exactly.
everybody has their phone out to
Exactly.
videotape or take a picture of it.
Yeah.
So you
And
know it's
also,
getting
like,
posted.
What's another public place where this would be impactful? I can't really name any. A children's park? No. Schools? No, let's not involve. Let's not like mess up
No.
the kids.
No.
A workplace? Who cares? You'll just get fired. Like
Yeah.
a museum's like one of the last few public places that invites such discourse and like is revered at the same time, in my opinion.
It's a good point. See, I don't see that typical viewpoint in the Instagram comments. You know, most people aren't having such an intellectual dialogue as we have right here on the Morning Roar.
That is
On
what I
social
get
media.
with my Villanova education.
Well, let's go into our second discussion topic of the day. How many calories can you burn shoveling snow? According to the Omni calculator, this sounds fake already. It's a pretty good workout. The free online calculator says the result will vary depending on your weight. But for example, a person weighing 180 pounds shoveling snow with intensive effort for 1 hour can expect to burn about 600 calories. You'd burn about the same by ice skating for an hour. And remember, physical activity can also have positive effects on mental health. Studies show that shoveling snow for at least 30 minutes can trigger the release of endorphins in the brain.
I need my family to stop listening right now. I need my
Gotta get
dad
off.
to turn off the radio
Yeah.
at this exact moment because if he has the evidence that there is a positive personal effect in terms of shoveling snow,
It's over.
it's over.
It's game over. Yeah. Like I'm very lucky to come from a family with a snowblower.
Mm.
So that's kind of huge. But the problem is when it snows a lot, the snowblower just does not work, which is pretty much 50% of the time.
And that's a bit ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
A bit ironic.
It's a little bit ironic because there's
Yeah.
so much snow that it cannot like get all of it in and then it just gets clogged. So now you're stuck shoveling the snow.
That feels like a main design flaw. Like that doesn't feel like a bummer. It's like that doesn't do the job you bought it for.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's a huge problem.
You're an engineer. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
That fails immediately.
It's really helpful for the other 50% of times though, because it takes like 20 minutes to get the driveway all done. Then,
That is good. That is
Yeah.
good.
Nick, like, what is your experience with shoveling the driveway here?
So my dad and I usually do it together. Like my dad runs the snowblower, and I clean up the edges with a shovel, and I have to shovel the walk because we have like the paver walk. We don't want to put the snowblower over that. I don't like it because it's cold. And
What
I
about the endorphins? What about the
don't-
endorphins?
those are, what endorphins? Let me tell you this right now. I don't get it. It's just I'm out there breaking my back and shoveling snow, man. I want to go home inside and want to play video games or something.
See, when I was a kid, I would get pumped to
Yeah.
shovel the driveway.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I had my little shovel that didn't do anything,
yeah. I feel like we all had that. at
and
some
I'd shovel
point.
like the front stoop for 30 minutes and get nothing done. And it was just a phenomenal time.
And I liked it because my dad, we also have a snowblower. He would do it, and then I would go outside and I would play, and I would be like, I would fall around the snowblower so that like the spout that moves all of the snow out would fall on me, and I'd be like, "Yay, it's snowing
snowing."
again!" But as a jaded adult now, I don't do that any longer.
No longer.
Yeah.
You've grown. So let's go into our mind bender. So Mike, who is in the lead, is not here today. So you guys have a chance to close the gap.
No, we don't.
Nick has 3. Becky, bless up, has 2. Talene also has 3 points. So guys, are you ready for the mind bender?
This is a tiebreaker.
That
For you
is
two,
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
All right. Here it is. So there's actually 2 questions. So the first one, what can you catch but not throw?
A cold.
No.
Yes,
But you could still give a
that is
cold.
true.
Feelings?
You can
Oh,
also get
yes.
that. You
Yes.
can get that. I was gonna say
How,
that,
are
but
you, how could you give feelings?
if someone also falls for you, that doesn't count. That is the same property
I'm
of
willing
cold.
to give that.
That is
No,
the
no,
same
no, 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 no,
property-
no,
that
no,
is
no,
the
no,
same
no, no,
property
no,
as
I-
cold.
Because as a cold,
100%.
the germs are leaving your body and going into somebody else's. You give that to them
You
unwillingly.
tell me that people don't enter relationships because one of them has like feelings for the other, and the other person's like, "Oh my god, that's amazing. I'm going to reciprocate now." Absolutely not. That is a thing.
I'm on board with her actually.
Okay.
Nick agrees.
So I'll go to the option B then. I'll go to the second question. The first question's out of the window. You know, I don't pick these. Why should you never break up with a soccer player? Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one. Y'all should have just rocked with the first one. This is on you.
Endorphins from sports
No.
making. Okay.
It
What
is
are the-
far less logical than you're thinking right now.
what are the
Does-
names of the soccer players? There's
Because
a
it's Messi.
forward.
The breakup
No.
is. Oh, damn.
That's pretty good. There's a forward. There's a defender. There's a goalie.
Because he's a keeper.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Whatever. I'm not upset or anything.
So, Talene, you move into second to last place with Becky behind
Who is
you.
literally on a cruise ship right now? So at least
halfway
I'm in good
across the
company.
world.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nick, you've got 4 points. You're only 2 behind Mike. You're right there. You're almost locked in. Yeah.
You almost might win a fake pie.
No, the pie is real.
The pie is.
I
real.
promise you the pie is
It
real.
wasn't real last semester.
No, it wasn't. That was on me. That was on me. But the pie is real. You're listening to the Morning Roar right here on WXVU. We're going to be taking a quick break, so stay tuned for more after this.
I'm Maddie Giuliano, the host of The Color, and you're listening to V89.1 The Roar.
The morning that it happened, I remember just waking up feeling so overwhelmed and basically helpless that I honestly didn't know what else to do. So I remember just going like for my pill bottle, and then I would like take one, and then I just kept taking more in hopes that like I'll just fall asleep and just never wake up.
If you or someone you know at Villanova needs help, contact the Student Counseling Center at 610-519-4050. The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available by dialing 988.
This message was brought to you by senior nursing students in the Health Promotion course at the Villanova Fitzpatrick College of Nursing, the Office of Health Promotion, and WXVNU Health, Villanova University Radio.
V89.1 The Roar is on social media. Our Instagram and Twitter accounts allow you to meet our DJs, enter WXVU contests, and more. The Roar is on Instagram at WXVU Radio and on Twitter at WXVU.
Welcome back to the Morning Roar right here on WXVU 89.1 FM. And now it is time for our third segment of the day. Now, I'm sure you've noticed race cars once or twice on campus, whether in the Idea Lab or simply zooming around once in a while. It's probably Father Peter's golf cart. But we're here to know more about these fast cars and the people behind them. Joining us today is Ethan Rundell and Will Stovall from the Nova Racing, Villanova's Formula SAE. Ethan and Will, thanks for spending some time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
So we would love to get to know you. So could you tell us more about yourselves?
Yeah, so my name is Will Stovall. I'm the captain of the Formula team here on campus. And you know, I love building race cars, and I'm an engineer, and I run ultra marathons as well. That's pretty much the exciting things about me.
I have a follow-up. What is an ultra marathon?
So that's anything that's longer than a normal marathon. So a normal one is 26.2 miles. So most ultras start around 30.1 miles, and then they all go up to about 100, maybe a little bit more than that.
And you enjoy this?
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun. But I also like building race cars too,
Yeah.
so there might be something, going on up
You're
there.
just a big fan of racing.
Yeah, I love it.
There you go. Ethan, how about you?
Yeah, hey, my name is Ethan Rundell. I'm a senior mechanical engineer, and on the team, I am the chassis lead, and I'm also in charge of all the frame design. So, that's basically everything that I do on the team. But outside of that, I also do some construction for the Mullen and things like that.
Awesome.
Cool. So, what is Nova Racing?
Yeah, so Nova Racing is it's a collegiate competition where schools from all around the world really design, build, test, and compete open-wheeled formula-style race cars. So what we do, our design cycle kind of starts in the spring semester. So actually, we're in the middle of designing next year's car already as we're building this year's. But then, you design it and build it over about a year and a half, and then every May we ship it up to Michigan, and we compete against about 120 other teams.
If anybody here has watched Drive to Survive or Formula One, it's very similar to that. We are building a race car from scratch. We start with absolutely nothing, just drawings on like a napkin, in the engineering building, right? And then we actually go and we machine all of the parts. We weld the whole thing together. So it is truly from nothing. We create a trophy-winning race car. It's awesome.
Awesome.
So, what led you to be taking part in this club?
So for me, it was one of the only few clubs during 2020 that was actually allowed to continue meeting. And I was a freshman on campus, when I was wandering around, and I really wanted to get involved on campus, but there wasn't a lot of opportunities to do that. And I was sort of exploring, and I stumbled into the basement of the engineering buildings here. And there was this group of people building this race car. And I thought, wow, this is awesome. I want to be part of this. And then the rest is sort of history.
Yeah. Mine was very similar. Freshman year, I was actually about a semester late joining the team. Will was going through it all fall semester. I had no idea what was going on, but I still wanted to find something engineering to do, especially during the COVID years. And he's like, hey, come out and try out this Formula team. So I ended up showing up, and everyone's like, oh, you're Will's buddy. And it just kind of went from there. And three years later, here we are.
So you spoke about this a little bit earlier, but what competitions does Nova Racing take part in?
Yeah, so the main one is the internal combustion SAE competition up in Michigan. There's three main static events. You have your sound test, you have your technical inspection, and you have brakes. And a lot of that is just your safety. Oh, sorry, there's 4. There's also tilt. All of those are basically to make sure that your car is like safe, it's rules compliant, and like it, no one's going to get hurt, both the driver or anyone like trying to organize the event as you're driving it around. And then you also have your dynamic events where you have your classic acceleration run.
It's a drag race.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Side note: 2 years ago, we were the 3rd fastest car in the country, so kind of
There you
fun. Then you also have your skid pad, which is basically like a figure 8 of how well can your car turn. You have autocross, which is like a short little like it's a like a go-kart track. It's really cool to watch. And then the last main event is called endurance, and it's basically how far can your car go before it breaks. I think it has to make it approximately 20 kilometers. There's a driver swap in the middle. You're not allowed to touch anything. So it has to like start up and just do everything perfectly for about 30 minutes.
Then we also, that's the main event, but other teams will host sort of fun little, not necessarily sanctioned by SAE events that are just fun. They call them shootouts. So we'll go down to Pittsburgh for, a couple days and race there. I know there's one in Georgia that we've been invited to, and we would have loved to get the chance to go to this year, but we just didn't have it. And then there's some in Canada as well. So all over the country, teams will host little fun shootouts for, sort of neighboring teams, which is great. It's a good community.
Now, in any of these events, like, are you guys racing against like all of the other cars on the track, or is that like a little kind of outside of the realm of what this is looking at?
So they try to, of course, keep it safe. For that final endurance race that Ethan was talking about, they set it up so that it's a staggered start. So there's probably at any given time, maybe 10, maybe more, maybe a little less cars on the track. The track is very large, but they'll let us go and then they wait 10 seconds and then Kettering goes. But, maybe you're going to pass another car, in which case they have the proper controls for that. There's a blue flag which gets waved, which means the car that is slower has to move to the other side so you can overtake them. So there is still passing and there is still very much racing.
Yeah.
But, we try to keep it as safe as
Of
possible.
course.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So what are your most memorable experiences with Nova Racing?
Oh boy.
Yeah. I can definitely start on this one. So Will had already described pit shootout. But so when I had joined the team late, like I didn't find out that I was actually accepted onto the team until after freshman year ended. I was already at home for the summer and like there was nothing else. Well, first weekend of sophomore year, that was our pit shootout that year. So I ended up getting roped in with a bunch of upperclassmen. We all caravan out with the car to Pittsburgh, and it's like 90 degrees outside. Everyone is like sweating, but there's all like what 20 other teams there, and it's the first time I've seen like this many Formula cars. And we lined up for our first run, and one of our alum Louis was like an absolute like genius at running this car. He drops the clutch, the tires are spinning, and it just shoots right off. And I distinctly remember that moment because I'm like, I'm done. Like this is where I'm going to be the next couple of years.
Yeah, the first time you see the car like launch straight forward and you hear it, like the tires are screaming, you can smell the burnt rubber, you can smell the 100 octane, and you're just like, there's something in you that's like, this is cool. There's power there.
Yep.
How do you determine who drives the car?
So we have a system for that. We do what we call Everybody Drives Day, where once you've been on the team for a year, we put you in the car and we build a little mock endurance track, and we say, all right, go get them, son. And whoever is the fastest just naturally in the car, we end up training, and then they end up becoming the driver. But it's a student who drives it. The entire thing is student run.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what really goes into building the race car then?
A lot
Yeah,
of
I would imagine.
communication. Yeah, but really, I think it really comes down to communication and respect among the teammates. And if you have that, then you're going to get everything else, right? If we're all working together to build this car, then we're going to start innovating. And at that point, that's when it gets really easy to do the actual physical building. If we're all on the same page, it's easy to spend an entire night, welding a car together, or figuring out, okay, what parts need to be ordered from where, what are my lead times looking like. I'm going to go in MS Project and I'm going to make a giant project file of all of these different parts that we need, all the different team members who we need to machine them. And if everybody's on the same page with that, you really get a car together. You can speak more on that for
there's
sure.
also a lot of like trust and accountability when it comes to putting all this together, because I can almost guarantee you for any given part on the car, there's at least 20 different rules that you have to follow. And obviously it is way too much for one person to like take over. I know the first car that we had, it was built by like 5 people, and I have no idea how they do it. But right now, like the car that we're building, there's probably about 30-ish people like across the board, all dedicated to a different thing. Like I said, I oversee frame, so I know that in and out. I have no idea how the engine works. I have no idea how any of the electrical works. I mean, I could probably figure out how to put the brakes on, but it's a lot of, I trust the people that are in charge of that to actually get it done.
It's truly, you have designs that you make early on, and then you go and you produce those parts that you designed in the computer, and then you put it all together. And if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't work, you make it fit and you make it work.
So how does it feel to be part of something like this?
It's something else. I mean, I compare it a lot to like sports. Obviously you're part of a team, like, and I mean, growing up, I've been part of all these different, baseball, football, wrestling clubs and teams, everything like that. And this, like, it follows right along with that. Everybody wins together, everybody loses together, and it's just really impressive to see all this effort come together into like an actual like vehicle that runs and drives on its own power.
Yeah, it's really special. It's not always easy. I mean, my hands are cut right now from I was working on the engine the other night. It's a lot. It's a lot of long hours. It's a lot of really hard work. But it's one of those things where at the end, when you're holding that trophy, or even if you're not holding a trophy, but you know that you've put your heart and soul into something, and you've got to share that experience of putting your heart and soul into something with, about 70 other people, that's really special. It's really, really an awesome thing.
Do you see either of you or both of you doing something related to this in the future?
I would, as a hobby. I'd build and race cars in my garage when I'm older. But I don't want to actually go into it professionally just because it's so much fun and I love it. And I'm worried that if you were to do it as a job, I would sort of lose some of that magic.
Yeah, I'm right there. Like full recreation would be awesome, but a lot of like professional motorsports is like really, really cutthroat, and it'd probably be fun for a little bit, and then it just drains you.
So how can students get involved with Nova Racing?
It's a great question. We want everybody who wants to get involved to get involved. So at the start of every school year, we hold a recruitment cycle. So it's only in the fall, but just come on down to the garage, say, hey, I want to get involved. We're at all of the involvement fairs in the fall. We're posting flyers everywhere. You really can't miss it. I think there's still flyers up in Tollentine from maybe last year even. But yeah, in the fall, anybody who wants to get involved, definitely come on down. Just say you do. We have majors from all across the board. We've got a bio major on the team. We've got comp sci people. It's not just engineering. We have a massive business team, right? For reaching out to sponsors, for making media posts. We have a team website, a team TikTok. So there is something to be done for, any major on the team.
Yeah. And if anyone even wants to like check things out sooner rather than later, our car is almost out every prospective student's day, every admitted student's day. Anytime that you see like a large scale like club fair. And we also actually later in April 30th, from 3 to 5 in the afternoon, we have our car reveal, where the car is going to be done, all the bodywork's going to be on, the paint's going to look like fantastic, and we're going to have this whole big celebration and ceremony where we actually show everybody what it is. And that is open to absolutely anybody that wants to come, so we'd love to see as many people there as possible.
There will be food.
Now, lastly, as a car guy, I have to know myself, what are your favorite cars?
The Lancia Stratos.
Excellent answer.
Thank you.
I'm a big Datsun guy.
Awesome. Well, there it is. Ethan and Will, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having us on the show.
Make sure to check out Nova Racing, and you're listening to WXVU 89.1 The Roar. This is the Morning Roar. We're going to be taking a quick break, so stay tuned for more after this.
This is Father Peter, and you're listening to V89.1 The Roar.
I just can't believe this is the end of college.
My friend group is falling apart.
I'm stressed about finding a job. How am I going to say bye to all my friends?
Ugh, where should I live next year?
I'm just feeling so lost. As a college senior, are you feeling stressed? You're not alone.
In a study done by the American College Health Association, 37% of students reported feeling stressed about their professional career, 40% felt stressed about romantic relationships, and 26% reported stress around friendships and peers.
Don't be scared of senior year. Follow your intuitions and stay true to yourself. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. Reach out to friends, mentors, or counselors for support. For more information and insight, tune into Senior Scaries, our WXVNU Health podcast.
This message is brought to you by senior nursing students in the Villanova Fitzpatrick College of Nursing, the Office of Health Promotion, and WXVNU Health, Villanova University Radio.
Listen every Wednesday at 9 a.m. for Radio Survivor. Radio Survivor has been covering and supporting great radio from college and community broadcasters to internet radio and podcasts since 2009. Hosted by Matthew Lassar, Paul Rismandel, and Jennifer Waits, Radio Survivor every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on V89.1 The Roar.
Welcome back to the Morning Roar right here on WXVU 89.1 FM, The Roar. Now it is time for our sports roundup. First up with Villanova Sports. Our intrepid sports director is making his way. I don't know why that descriptor word needed to be there.
I think it fits. Intrepid.
But yes, our intrepid sports director is making his way down to the nation's capital for WXVU's live coverage of the Villanova men's basketball matchup against Georgetown. Our coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. tonight. The Cats are looking to build off their big win against Seton Hall on Super Bowl Sunday, but they are still very much on the bubble for an NCAA tournament bid. The men's team is 13-11 overall and 6-7 in the Big East. Now, the women's team has won 3 in a row and is 16-8 overall. They look to keep rolling at the Pavilion against Butler tomorrow. WXVU has coverage of that matchup beginning at 3:30 p.m. Now, other Villanova sports this weekend. Today, softball will be taking on George Mason at 6:30 p.m. in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Men's tennis will be taking on Wagner College at 7 p.m. in Bryn Mawr. Now, tomorrow, women's tennis will be going to Howard University, and softball will be taking on Lehigh at 11 a.m. Women's lacrosse is going against Bucknell at noon, and women's water polo will be taking on Harvard at 3:30 p.m. Men's lacrosse will also be taking on an Ivy League opponent in Yale at 3:30 p.m. also. The baseball team is in San Antonio this weekend for 3 games against the University of the Incarnate Word. Now, in other sports topics, is this the worst time of the sports calendar? No football, too early for baseball, no playoffs in the winter sports yet. I think this is just very football centric. I don't think it's that bad in the sports calendar.
We also haven't divulged about the Super Bowl yet.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Do we have any thoughts?
I mean, okay. The halftime show I thought was very mid, but that really doesn't have to do with the sport. What?
Listen.
Okay.
Usher is 40 plus years old.
Okay.
He is 30 plus years into his career, and he gave us dancing, he gave us singing, he gave us showmanship, and he brought out 3+ guests. I'm not sure what else you want from the guy.
I want him to play his popular songs and then not cut them in weird places.
That's what you have to do in a 13-minute halftime show.
Not really. You could play your most popular songs and not cut them in the worst places.
What would you have liked to hear that he didn't play?
I'm drawing a blank right now. What was the last song he sang?
I don't know.
What was the last song he sang? I'm drawing such a blank right now, but I wanted that one to go on longer.
Okay.
Like, that's what I needed
Okay.
more of. Because, like, everybody likes to kind of play their songs that, like, oh, maybe nobody really knows these
That
songs,
is
but I'm
kinda
going to try to
true.
get them out there.
Yeah.
And so, like, the first half of the performance is always like, I have no idea.
My brother
what
is
you're even
texting
doing
me right now, and he's going, the halftime show is nothing. Talk about me and my thoughts on Mahomes versus Brady. So I will on his behalf.
Okay.
Gregory, my younger brother, wants me to report to all of our listeners that Mahomes is nowhere near Brady. Yes, Mahomes stat-wise is approaching Brady, but Brady has been through so much more. You can't compare a 7-year quarterback to someone who played for over 20. And
No.
my question is, why is Brady relevant in this conversation?
Because now it's Tom Brady was the undisputed GOAT.
Yes. I
Like,
think he still kind of is.
He still is, but now Patrick Mahomes, since he just did 3
Two-
Super
double
Bowls,
back? Oh, 3?
Well, it's not 3 in a row, but like
Okay.
3 in his career now, 2 back to back, where everybody's kind of thinking like, okay, he's on the track to get to Tom Brady status. I don't think anybody is saying that as of right now, Tom Brady is better, or
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady. But I think everybody's saying in the totality of his career, Patrick Mahomes has the absolute best chance of any quarterback in the league to get to Tom Brady's level. And I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, one thing that's actually caught my eye in very similar vein of conversation is the comparisons between Gronk and Travis Kelce.
Gronk is so much better.
That's what I'm saying. Like, fine, Travis Kelce might actually be better than Gronk on paper, but you gotta remember, Gronk was doing stuff that ain't nobody
has ever
seen
done
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gronk could block.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, they can't put him in the game because he can't block. And then he screams at his coach for not putting him in on a blocking play. Did you see that video?
No.
So there was a blocking play. They take Travis Kelce out because as a tight end, you're supposed to be able to somewhat block. And he
What does he do actually? I did not watch the Super Bowl. I need everyone to know.
he's supposed to catch the ball and make touchdowns.
Okay, thank you.
But a tight end is also supposed to be able to block.
Mhm.
Travis Kelce is not good at that
Then why is he in the NFL?
because he is
So
phenomenal.
good at catching and running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's just a big dude who could grab the ball and take it to that end zone. But they take him out. The run play happens, and he goes up to Andy Reid, who's just
Mhm.
this big, lovable guy, like grabs him by the arm, just starts screaming at him.
How immature.
It is immature. All the Taylor Swift girlies were probably very upset.
Yeah. I would be upset for Taylor Swift as well.
Yeah.
What a horrible unmasking of an anger-filled man.
Whoa. I don't know if it goes that deep.
You never know.
You never know. Deep down, that could be what's going on here.
Mhm.
Did you see Travis Kelce at the end of the game singing Viva Las Vegas with Taylor Swift standing like somewhat nearby, kind of looking disappointed that her kids are going to have a 40 IQ?
Mm.
Like, it was pretty entertaining.
Taylor Swift's not stupid. I don't think she's procreating with this man.
Oh, wow. Are we calling an end to the relationship?
That's not what I'm saying.
That's kind of what you're saying. If she's not procreating with him, it's either she's marrying him and not procreating at all, or this relationship is over. So which one is it?
I think it's either the first one or an insane surrogacy type of situation. It's
No
2024.
way.
I think
No
anything
way.
could happen.
I think that'd be kind of wild for her to marry Travis Kelce and be like, I don't want this. I don't want this for my future
Less-
kids.
Less famous and rich people have done similar things. in
But I
my
think that's
opinion.
exactly the problem. She's so famous that if she did this, the flack she would catch would be insane. It's like
I'd
you
be a
love him enough. That's wild. That's a wild statement.
Yeah. I'm pulling this out of my head right now. I think this is funny and I'm gonna run with it.
So are we happy with how overtime ended? Are we happy with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl?
I didn't like either team anyways, so I really didn't care.
I saw
quite
a girl
honest.
make a little video about that completely swayed my entire opinion, which was the quarterback of the other team was like very much the underdog in this situation.
Absolutely.
And that is what kind of swayed me. I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was his first Super Bowl. And like, it was a very unlikely journey for them to get here. And he's like only 24. So
Okay.
he's like,
I need to
our
qualify.
age.
I need to qualify this
I
a little
could be
bit.
at the Super Bowl.
Sure, you could be.
Yeah.
Like in reality, possibly. But like the whole thing with Brock Purdy is he was drafted the last pick of his draft. His starting quarterback got injured. He gets to play. He's only good because he has the best team around him.
And that's all you need.
It's not really an underdog story when it's Hawkeye on the Avengers. Like Hawkeye's easily the worst Avenger, but nobody's sitting there like, oh, I really hope the Avengers win because Hawkeye is the underdog.
Disagree.
Really?
No, I actually truly do. Like, as somebody who knows nothing about football, I feel like with a base understanding of humanity and how teamwork works, I think it is actually very difficult to be like the new guy in a space of people who are objectively better than you and get them to earn respect for you as the guy who's like the substitute. He's essentially a substitute teacher. And imagine if the substitute teacher of like an English class like took them to the best SAT scores in the country.
But
like, that's really
imagine you
impressive.
already had the smartest kids in the class.
Well, then
They're
there's
all
like chance for them
geniuses.
to run into ruin.
I don't think so.
I
like they all already have perfect ACT scores, and you come in and you're like, let's see if we can get good SAT scores, guys. And they do, and everybody's like, oh, it was all you all along.
You know
that's what this
Fine.
team was.
I think it was a team effort, and that's why they lost.
No, they lost because they didn't know the rules of overtime. That was the best part about it. There's so many clips that have come out now of San Francisco players right before overtime starts going, I don't know the rules.
Wait, what?
Because they just changed the overtime rules in 2022.
And
but
they're like,
still.
we haven't played that long.
Yeah.
My brother's informing me that he does not believe that they have an amazing team because he says their office isn't in the top 5.
Their offense?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not their like back office.
I thought you were saying the front office, and I'm like, if we're really basing this off the front office, we've got some problem. But also, it's 8:57, so we have to move on. I would love to respond to that point, but I'm not one educated enough, or two, we need to go into the music news. So, Nick, music news.
All right. So, where's that segment? Okay. So, fresh off his Fresh off his Super Bowl halftime performance, Usher has inked a deal with Universal to develop a TV series inspired by his decades-long music catalog. Quote, the Untitled Usher Project, unquote, is described as a show about, quote, Black love in Atlanta and individuals looking to find a place to call home, unquote, according to the official description. In addition, it will explore music, style, sex, romance, and secrets that will threaten to tear relationships apart. And today, Ariana... hold on, we want to say something?
What?
What? I didn't say
Like,
anything.
what is this? I don't know what this show is about.
Me
Like,
neither.
that gave me no details as to actually what is happening on this show.
And I feel like Usher, maybe I'm like not young enough. No, I'm not old enough to know it, but I feel like Usher's kind of one of those stars where he's like a bit of a Katy Perry, where it's like he makes amazing music to dance to, but I don't really want to know anything about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Without a doubt.
I'm not sure I'm going to be tuning into this one because I
No.
really like Usher's music, but I don't want to listen to his
I don't
story.
care.
Sorry. Yeah.
And today, Ariana Grande drops a new remix of her latest single, Yes and,
I hate that song.
featuring a big name guest star. She wrote on Instagram, quote, I cannot believe the words I am typing. Yes and remix featuring the one and only queen of my heart and lifelong inspiration at Mariah Carey is out this Friday.
What? Mariah Carey wants another house? Like, why would she sign on to this horrible song?
Money.
She wants another house.
I think that is literally it. And she could have picked any other song from Ariana Grande. I think Ariana Grande is an amazing artist, but this was one of her worst songs in years. And I think it's actually, frankly, shameful for her to stick such an amazing artist who clearly inspired Ariana's career and a lot of her style on like this worst song.
That was very passionate.
Thank you.
I did not know we had such an Ariana Grande hater. No denial at all. Nick, why don't you just take us into the movies?
All right. So our first movie is Bob Marley, One Love, rated PG-13, and it is a music biopic. The life and music of an icon who inspired generations through his message of love and unity, starring Kingsley Ben-Adir, Lashana Lynch, and James Norton. Tomato meter at 42%, audience score at 96%. I don't trust the audience scores on these like music biopics because it's kind of a like, oh, I'm really excited to go to like the Taylor Swift concert. I wonder if it will be good. Like you're a massive fan of whoever this is and you're going to see their movie. Like, if you like Bob Marley, you're going to like this movie. Is kind of my general understanding, but I haven't seen it, so maybe it's a huge twist. I don't know. And then our next movie is Madam Web, PG-13 action/sci-fi. A Manhattan paramedic gains the power to see the future, even if she has trouble escaping her own past. She finds herself linked to 3 other women. Shouldn't they say like webbed or woven? But the shared future is threatened by a man who has the same power. Why can't he also be linked? Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, and Isabel Merced. Tomato meter at 15%.
That's brutal.
I think that might be the lowest we've had.
We've ever
That's
seen.
crazy.
I've never seen a 1 in here. Audience score at 59%, which is not much better. Well, the what's it called? The summary was weird on its own, so it didn't really entice me to see it at all. Like, what's great about the fact that they're a little bit threatened after making some friends? It's just life.
And it had a lot of like star power in here. Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney. I'm pretty sure there's somebody else too. But like, these are somewhat big names in a Marvel movie for it to tank this badly.
I don't think Dakota Johnson or Sydney Sweeney are incredibly like compelling movie stars, if you want my opinion. I don't think I've never like seen their names be like, I need to watch their project for them.
But simply just because I recognize the name, I'm like, oh, these are bigger than usual. You know?
Yeah, but it's a Marvel movie. You know, it's kind of a
They're
Mariah
on-
Carey
they're
on the
going
Ariana
downhill.
Grande track. They're just getting a check.
True.
Yeah.
True, without a doubt. Yeah. So the fun events coming up on campus this weekend. The 2024 Graduate Student Peace and Justice Symposium, called Peace and Justice, at the Margins and the Center, takes place today from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. in St. Rita Hall. Villanova's Dr. Raul Diego Rivera Hernandez, Director of Latin American Studies program, will open with his Searching for Disappeared Migrants, and student topics throughout the day include agency and empowerment, narratives/counter-narratives, interreligious relationships, hope in relationships, and trauma and crises. Now, Crazy for You will be taking place at 8 p.m. in the Topper Theater each night this weekend, where you can experience the charming classic Gershwin musical directed by Villanova University President Father Peter Donahue. Now, tonight is the Winter Gala at 9 p.m. to midnight in the Connolly Center. A reminder that formal attire is requested. Not only requested, if you show up not wearing formal attire, you're going to get a weird look from everybody there.
And a
It's
lot of
required.
weird things happen, so don't preempt the night.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
just seen Father Peter do a lot of weird things.
Father Peter is always there having a good time.
That too good a time.
Too good a
Sometimes.
time.
Too good.
Yeah.
That's mostly what I'm talking about.
On Saturday, the Ridiculum Improv Comedy Group's stand-up comedy show will be taking place on Saturday at 6 p.m. in Gary Hall, room 10A. And on Sunday, the cultural film and lecture series Warrior Queen will be taking place in the Con Cinema. The cultural film and lecture series offers free screenings to all Villanovan community members on Sundays at 3:30 and 7 o'clock p.m. Now, for the results of our poll. Again, the question was, what did you do this Valentine's Day? 20% of you said you went out to dinner. 20% of you stayed in and chilled. 20% of you did something else. And 40% said nothing. It's a fake holiday.
Lots of Debbie Downers.
I know,
on the
right?
Twitter poll.
Yeah. Well, our deep thought of the week is comparison is the thief of joy.
Maybe those people who didn't do anything on Valentine's Day should think about this.
They should.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen in, guys. Thank you to our executive producer, Mandy Love Ledbetter. And coming up next is our Swingin' Fridays right here on WXVU. See you next week for the next edition of The Morning Roar. Have a great weekend.
Villanova University's WXVU Villanova, serving the main line, including Montgomery, Delaware, and Chester